I think it needs to address this challenge of critique. And so I think in the 70s and 80s, critique of certain scientific establishment assertions seemed to be important and powerful, and I would say on the side of what's good and right. Critique is not enough. It seems that people are marshaling critique against science for a variety of issues, so skeptics about climate change, proponents of creation philosophy, opponents of the idea that cigarettes are carcinogenic. And so a critique of science is not sufficient as a kind of enlightened political intervention. And I think that's very important for the field to wrestle with, and I think it's doing so right now.
Trying to figure out questions from how to get people of diverse backgrounds into science and engineering, how to get them access to these technologies, how do these technologies look differently from people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, would all be very interesting questions for the next 20 years. And after hearing the talks this morning, the comment I was most interested in was the absence of class and socioeconomic concerns more generally from the literature. In my own field, looking at access to medical technology, that's a huge issue. It's very hard to study in the United States because there's so little data in the US that codes health data by class as compared to health data by race or ethnicity.
I think a lot of the new challenges that STS really needs to look at are understanding, for me, China and development in China, trying to understand what consumption means as we scale it up, particularly when we begin to think about sustainability technology, sustainability science, indicators for which we have no sort of indigenous terms for success. A big thing that STS has to do over the next 20 years is repatriate the idea of ethics.
And one of the things that I think that STS needs to better address is the issue of distinctly American science and distinctly American biological citizenship. I think that we've done a really good job of attending to the ways that there are some specificities in the Global South that we need to attend to, and I think that we need to pay more attention to things like a unique society in which we have a history of both a commitment to equality and radical stratification of society.
If I may be provocative, is that talking about the usefulness of STS to STS scholars is not always the most useful practice. We can talk about how useful we can be for other disciplines as STS scholars, but at the same time I think we also should further reflect on what we can learn from other disciplines, not only about the importation of knowledge, but also about the social organization of other disciplines in the past and what we can learn from that.
It's clear to me that STS continues to have a tremendous amount to offer to worlds beyond STS, to policy, to ethics. Our difficulty and our real challenge is the practical one of explaining our value, of showing our value, both to policymakers and ethicists, but also within the institutions that most of us practice, where a lot of our duties are with undergraduate students. We need to explain how interacting and being part of an STS initiative is going to really benefit them.